Hi, folks. The great debate is tomorrow. Can you feel the excitement? Social media is going crazy. People are posting left and right about how they feel, what's going to happen. Today, we're going to be talking about that. Also, we have a Candace Owens X update for those of you who aren't on X. Also, we're going to be talking about Baron Coleman and his latest review of the filing that just dropped yesterday on the Tyler Robinson case. And we're going to talk about Officer Tatum and his response. I have an update for you on Andrew Wilson's GiveSendGo, and going to read some of your comments and much more. So it's going to be a great show. Welcome in. I'm JP. This is Truth Probe, and I appreciate y'all being here. Let's get right into it. The great debate is tomorrow, Friday, and I think everyone is going to be tuned into this one. I think unless you've been hiding under a rock, this is going to be a really, really good debate. As most people know by now, Patrick Bet-David is going to be moderating, and Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson will be putting on the debate of the century. It's going to be a good one. I think that one of the reasons why it's so good is that this gives people a chance to feel like that their opinion is being expressed in this and that they're being represented somehow, because it seems like everybody is backing one side or the other. Either you think that Tyler Robinson did this all by himself and maybe you haven't looked into it very much and you're just going by what's on the news, but you're on that side, or you might be on the other side where you think none of this makes any sense. There are too many things that just don't look right. They don't feel right. They don't look right. You know, the video is all chopped up. There's no timestamps. There's lots of things wrong with this case. And so lots of us are trying to look into what we can and do what we can. And then there are other people who are actual sleuths on the internet that are digging in and researching everything they can get their hands on. So depending on which category you fall in, you're probably going to have a pretty strong opinion and you're going to go one way or the other. But regardless, I think you're going to be tuning in tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. So let's start by going through Candace's X feed and just kind of get you caught up on that. Yesterday, we read the last post that we read of hers was the one that started out, ugh, I barely had my coffee and I can already tell that the overwhelming evidence crowd is lying about the recent case filings in the hope that no one will actually read them or understand them. So we went through that, but we didn't have any more updates after that. The last thing she said in this one was that I'll report on what's actually in the filings later today. Well, she ended up not doing that. She didn't have a show yesterday because, and I'll read you why here, she actually posted about that, but basically it's because she's prepping for the debate for today and she didn't want to tip her hand to Andrew or let him know how she was thinking or what her thoughts were on anything so that she wouldn't wreck the debate or give him any clues as to how she was feeling on certain things. She writes, this is the equivalent of a wealthy person purchasing themselves a completely unnecessary luxury Aston Martin and then immediately publishing a GoFundMe to ask blue-collar workers to pay for it. And she has in quotation marks, I was financially irresponsible because I wanted to look cool on Joe Rogan. Here's why you should pay for it. So she's kind of just making fun. And then she says it's honestly shameless. And what she's talking about is Andrew Wilson and his GiveSendGo page that he set up to try to raise money or crowdsource this from his audience, I guess, and it's $300,000. So that's quite an ask. And while we're talking about this, I'll go ahead and give you an update on the GiveSendGo account that Andrew has. As of right now, it is at 59,000, just under 60,000. So yesterday it was at 49,000. So I thought, well, he might have a chance of actually making that, but now, after one day, it's only gone up by 10,000. I thought it might gain some more steam, but it's only at 60,000 now, so there's no way he's going to make it by tomorrow. But 60,000 is nothing to sneeze at, so he did something. Back to Candace. She did post later that day, and so let's see. I don't have my glasses, but I'll do my best to read these things for you. Let's see. She says, okay, officially bumping my show today because I'm realizing it would be a total mistake for me to do my show on this recent defense filing when we are less than 2 days away from the great debate. I, of course, have a lot to say about it, as always, but forcing myself to stay mum on it until me and Andrew come face to face on Friday. Please appreciate how difficult it is for me to exercise this level of restraint, as the usual suspects put on the typical 4K HD theater. So as I just said, she didn't have a show yesterday, and that's kind of her posting that. And then up above that, she says, okay, so Andrew dropped something, which I'll play in a second, but she's commenting on that. She says, so he's a master gunsmith, an army sniper, and a master mason. This feels like a lot. So she's talking about this video right here, and let's go ahead and play it for you real quick.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, only for the purposes of trying to explain to you that I have some intricate knowledge in some of the things that Woodcoff has lied about, chiefly his book, The Masons and Their Lies. I was a Freemason, Master Mason. I don't remember exactly how many years. I think 3 or 4 years. Okay, I still have all of my dues cards. I still have the Lodge Bible that was dedicated to me by everybody in the lodge. Okay, I was a Freemason myself.
So he was a Freemason, and he was in the army, and he was a sniper, I guess, and he was a gunsmith. So I'm sure more will come out on that. People are really digging into his background to try to figure out what's what. But she did post that. And so that was the last thing she posted on X. But she did post on Instagram, and I am going to play that for you right now.
Okay, so we were going to do today's show on the defense filing, the motion to dismiss. Obviously, you guys know it's my favorite thing to do is to mark up a document and to explain to you why the public is lying, a la Blake Lively in the filings against Justin Baldoni. I love doing a breakdown of legal filings, but in the interest of the debate that's in 48 hours, I recognize that if I do that, then Andrew Wilson's going to be able to prepare, and he has already signified that he thinks that this filing is good for him, that it's good for his side. And he strikes me as someone who would do like last minute studying, like hasn't been at the class all semester, is going to try to pass the exam. And I cannot go through this filing until we are after the debate, or during the debate rather, because he thinks it's good for him. So I am doing the unusual thing, and I'm going to say, Mom, we're canceling our show today. We will see you guys on Thursday for the great debate.
On Friday for the great debate. So yeah, that's her on Instagram. That's pretty much just saying what we've already covered, that she wasn't going to do a show today or yesterday. So that's just, so Friday will be the next time that we see her. Let's go over a post by Blake Neff, and he posted quite a long post on X, and he said Candace is having her latest blow up because the defense's new 41-page filing in the Tyler Robinson case uses exactly none of the wild claims that she spent the last 11 months pushing. Rather than make the case that Robinson is not guilty, the filing focuses almost exclusively on trying to spare him from the death penalty. So I won't read you the whole thing, but that's going to be his take on the whole thing. And this defense filing that everyone's talking about, we're going to go over part of it in a little bit, but Baron Coleman does a really good job of breaking it down, and you should really catch his show to understand that fully. We're going to go over some pieces of it, though, particularly this part about the hearsay, which really got me thinking. I was just kind of wondering about this whole hearsay thing, but we'll get into that in just a second. Also, Gary from Paramount Tactical chimed in, and this is on Cassia's show, and I'll let her tell it.
Tactical goes, TR's defense knows the truth, the same truth Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, and others lied about. They pushed false narratives they knew were false so they could extract money, clicks, and views from you. They abused the trust you placed in them and exploited you for profit. The lesson, yes, the government lies. Social media personalities lie harder.
Okay, so they're really pushing this hard that Candace is trying to get money, clicks, and views from you. I think that's what everyone, anybody that reports on anything is going to get clicks and views and probably money. I mean, this channel doesn't, we're too small, but I mean, I think even, the network channels and the cable channels, the news channels, that's what they do. They report news and they investigate things and they do get paid for it. Yes. But they're really focusing on that as being something really evil. And I don't agree with that at all. And honestly, I don't even think Gary agrees with that from Paramount Tactical. I think that if he was really pressed on the issue, he would admit that, yeah, it's okay to get paid for things. He's trying to make it seem like it's evil and calling Candace a terrorist. And I did hear a podcast by Uncle Tom X, I think, on YouTube. Maybe I'll put it in tomorrow's show, where Gary questioned Uncle Tom, and they went back and forth, and Uncle Tom had some really good points. I think I will include that in tomorrow's show, so don't miss it. Okay, so next we have Baron Coleman, and he went through quite a few things on this latest filing that dropped. And it is important to understand this because it's not in everyday language, it's in lawyer language. So it's good to have Baron kind of break everything down, because a lot of this preliminary hearing I'm just going to say prelim hearing. I'm going to say prelim hearing from now on, because preliminary is too hard to say. So we're just going to go with prelim. So a lot of this prelim hearing was based on hearsay. And I kept thinking to myself, what's the deal with this hearsay? Why are they allowed to use hearsay in this trial? And when it seems like no other court in the US is allowed to do that. And so I did ask Gemini, why does Utah allow hearsay in court? And Gemini came back with, Utah does not broadly allow general hearsay in regular trials. Hearsay is strictly not admissible unless a specific law or rule provides otherwise, much like the federal legal system. So I was like, wait, that doesn't sound like it. Then I said, well, then why is the hearsay evidence against Tyler Robinson being allowed? And then Gemini came back with, because the case is currently in the prelim hearing phase, where the rules of evidence are much broader than they are during an actual criminal trial. So, okay, that makes sense. But then I had more questions, and it just goes through all this stuff. You guys can ask it the same questions. But I said, well, then, okay, if they don't allow it, then what is the purpose of allowing hearsay in the prelim hearing if this evidence can't be used in the actual trial? And so Gemini came back with, the purpose of allowing reliable hearsay in a prelim hearing is efficiency. It saves time and resources while determining whether there's enough basic evidence to justify holding a trial. Saves time? Why does it save time? Does it save time to investigate things or allow things into the courtroom that won't be allowed in the regular hearing? In the regular trial? Would it make sense to say, okay, well, maybe there were zebras at the crime scene. Maybe we should investigate. Should we investigate zebras? Should we send a team of experts out there to investigate zebras in the prelim hearing just to see? Or, that's an extreme example, but I'm just saying, if it was something crazy like that, how are they saving time? Wouldn't that be more of a waste of time to go through the effort of trying to see whether there were zebras at the crime scene or not? It's kind of weird for me. I understand saving time in the context of police being able to just summarize the report instead of bringing in all the medical examiners and all the different people. They can kind of summarize, but this is taking it to a new extreme, because they're allowing video that has no timestamp on it and is not connected by anything. It's just all chopped up and edited, and I don't see how that's saving any time, and especially when it's not going to be allowed in the regular hearing, in the regular trial. So why do it? Okay, back to Baron Coleman.
In relying largely on hearsay deemed reliable by rule, the state has failed to prove by probable cause. Has failed to prove probable cause by reliable evidence that satisfies each element of each of the charged evidence. Right there is them saying, that is the defense saying, we concede nothing.
We concede nothing. So they're not admitting to anything, which is what lots of people on X are saying, that this is pretty much them conceding, that they're giving up and saying, he's guilty, basically, which is not what's being said there at all. Let's continue.
So they concede absolutely nothing. For this reason alone, the court must decline bind over. Not bind over on particular charges, bind over on everything. Now, then they're going to go with their strongest argument. The state has not provided the court with sufficient evidence as a matter of law to satisfy the sole aggravator in the information. Okay, so we know they're going to spend a long time talking about the aggravator charge.
The aggravator is what allows this to be a death penalty case.
That's the charge that elevates this to the death penalty. Under controlling constitutional law and Utah Supreme Court interpretation, the court cannot find, based on the state's evidence that the circumstances presented, a great risk of death to another other than Charlie Kirk and himself, and that the shooter knew of this high probability of the death of another. In other words, they did not meet this burden.
Okay, they did not meet this burden. And a little bit more.
That Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. We do not believe they met this aggravator burden. Finally, this is your next strongest argument. The court should decline bind over on aggravators count 6 and 7, and we'll talk about what those counts are.
Okay, so then he continues to go over this, and this is all the filing that just dropped, I guess, yesterday, I think. And so Barron does a great job of breaking this whole thing down. But people on X are just acting like this is great for the prosecutor somehow. It's just that they're conceding all kinds of things, and I don't find that to be true. Let's listen to a little bit more.
They talk about all of it, or not intro, in the argument itself. Right there. The state has failed to prove probable cause by reliable evidence that satisfies each element of the charged evidence.
Okay, the state has failed, is what they say, to prove. And so, and anybody can read this. It's available. But I want to listen to a little bit more when he talks about Tyler ID and the text messages.
How do we know that's Tyler Robinson? It largely came from Lance Twiggs. He was the guy who identified him. It largely came from Lance Twiggs' text messages. Those text messages were never authenticated.
Those text messages were never authenticated. That's so important. I mean, they were never, I guess, sent to the service provider and say, check these out and tell us, make sure they're authentic, that they're the original accurate records that took place, phone records, text message records. That all has to be authenticated. And I would think before it even went to court. So I don't know how they can just like type stuff up on a piece of paper and send it in. This stuff needs to be authenticated. The video too. The video, lots of it doesn't have a timestamp on it, and it's all chopped up and edited, as I said. And I don't know how we're supposed to take any of that as credible evidence.
That they are necessarily hearsay. They're presented to the court for the truth of the matter asserted, that they are the text messages, and they were never authenticated.
So I don't know how they're going to get away with, well, I guess they're not. I guess the video of Lance Twiggs that they presented at the trial, even though it was terrible, I don't think they can use that in the actual trial. Let me know what you guys think, but I think they're going to have to bring Lance in, actually, for the actual trial. I don't think they're going to be able to use this. Let's play this again just to remind everybody about Lance Twiggs.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses. I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat. And then jeans. So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last two, definitely do look like him.
What a joke. I mean, what a joke. I'm sorry, that is a joke. Like, this kid comes in chewing gum. I don't know, did they even prepare at all for this? Isn't it normal practice? Like, you go in, you're going to have a witness, you rehearse with the witness, you tell them what the questions are going to be, you rehearse the answers, You make sure that it's exactly the way you want it to go. That's how lawyers do it, right? What happened here? This kid didn't get, there was no rehearsing. That's not rehearsed. That's flying by the seat of your pants right there. Like, I can't even believe that he was able to give those answers like that. It's just crazy. So this is why, right here, this is why. And when you have somebody that says, well, yeah, kind of looks like him. I don't know. He did used to wear hats a lot. He likes sunglasses. Like, isn't it supposed to be, ma'am, can you identify the perpetrator? Yes, I can. Is he sitting there in this room? Yes, he is. Can you point him out to us? He's right there. That's him. 100%. That's him. That's how it works. Not this. Not, yeah, it kind of looks like him, I guess, dude. You know, that's asking us to just suspend our own good common sense. I mean, it really is. And I don't buy into any of that. So I definitely want to know what you guys think about that. Let's move on now. Let's go to Officer Tatum and listen to what he had to say about this whole thing.
This Tyler Robinson thing is like grinding my gears. I saw a video that Candace Owens put out that said that this was a video or something of Tyler Robinson in the parking garage. That I don't know where she got it from, but it ain't real. It ain't real. I was in the courtroom. Tyler Robinson's mama said, that's him. His daddy said, that's him. His boyfriend said, that's him. He confessed to his boyfriend, his mama, on the Discord channel, it was me. What the are we talking about? And then we got updates. The defense is not even arguing about this. They didn't argue in the court that it was entered into evidence with no objections from the defense. They didn't say this was a fake clip while they played the clip of their client in front of the whole courtroom. They accepted the clip as authentic. Some people claim they want justice more than Tyler Robinson's mama and them. They want him to get off and his mama and them told on him. All right, come on, play the interview.
Wow. So he's saying that his parents identified him and said that's him. And, you know, if you look up that grainy footage of this little dot running across the screen and jumping off, you can't identify anything from that. And that's what he's saying that they identified him on. That's crazy. Sorry. This is why people don't believe these guys. I don't know what's up with them. I don't know if they're getting paid. I don't know what's happening. But the common person is not going to suspend their rational thinking. And you can see a black dot run across the screen all you want. And you can think in your mind, well, it's because they have other video of him coming up to that point that's clear. They don't. That's the thing. They don't. So if you're just assuming that they have clear video of him going up to that point, then you're wrong, unless they haven't shown us yet. And that's very possible. That's about the only thing I can think of that why these, and he hasn't seen it if they have video. This Officer Tatum has not seen it. So he's going off of this little black dot, and it's deliberately misleading, and I don't appreciate any of that. I really do want to know what you guys think about all this, because it's really crazy. And I did have one comment that I'd like to read from Smokin' Willie. He said, I don't think TPUSA was that influential in Trump's election. Considering all the money they have raked in, it feels scammy. The debate has the potential to be a food fight. Andrew is not that effective if he can't use his bully tactics. Will PBD control this? Andrew will try to focus only on a few things Candace got wrong and forget other issues to create a narrative. This feels like a debate and not a truth-seeking exercise. He's right on. He's right on, and I'm learning that there's a big difference between trying to find the truth with someone and having a debate with someone. Big difference. And Smokin' Willie hit it right on the head. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody watching today. I'd like to know how you think about all this and what your comments are. How do you think the debate's going to go? You know, is it going to be just a food fight, or is it going to be, are we going to actually get somewhere with it? I'd love to know what you think. So leave me a comment. You can find me on X at JPTruthProbe, or you can email me jptruthprobe@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video.